Hello YouTube chess lovers, my friends, this is Gunjan here. Welcome to my 68th episode of Dirty Chess Tricks. In today's lecture, I'm going to show you some beautiful tricks and traps in the Nimzo-Indian Leningrad variation from the black perspective. The opening arises after the following move order: d4, knight to f6, c4, e6, knight to c3, and we have the Nimzo-Indian on the board with bishop to b4. Now, by far, one of the most popular choice by white is to play Leningrad variation, which start with bishop to g5. Here, the main line start with h6. However, in my video, I always deliver the surprise package, and here, my recommendation is you should start with c5. Okay, white has few options, and amongst them, d5 is one of the mainline move. But let's see what happens if white tries other moves. First of all, d captures c5 is a horrible positional blunder, because after bishop captures c3 and the move pawn captures c3, you can see that horrible pawns on the c file, and it is just matter of time, as I have highlighted over here. Black can munch those pawns and create a winning positions. So that is right out of the equation. The second move which I want to consider is e3, which, believe it or not, is very famous, especially in the quick games. And surprisingly, as per the online database, there are more than 250 FIDE games goes into this direction, where I'm afraid white's fifth move is a great time disaster. Yup, you heard it right, because black's next reply literally get the winning advantage. Queen to a5, and no matter now however white wriggles, it is only black who is coming on the top. For example, I have even seen the move bishop captures f6 in my blitz games, which is a big time inaccuracy by white, as after the simple continuation, bishop captures c3, pawn captures c3, queen captures c3, white has to move the king, and after that, yup, you simply recapture the piece, and not only black come up with a complete pawn advantage, but white has a horrible king sitting on e2. Well, by far the most popular choice here is queen to c2, defending the knight, and now all set to capture on f6. But here, black unleash another tactical idea, and I hope you indeed see it, right? Yup, knight to e4. So not only pressurizing the c3 knight, but the meantime white bishop also get attacked. Well, the obvious reason white cannot take this knight because of bishop captures c3. Once again, you cannot touch that bishop, otherwise the rook in the corner hangs. So white has to play king to d1. But after bishop captures b2, rook to b1, and now the star move, c captures d4, forces the more exchanges. Rook captures b2, queen captures d5, and after queen captures d4, once again we have the familiar scenario where not only black come up with a whole pawn advantage, but white king is completely misplaced. Probably here the most tasting reply is knight g to e2, which at first sight looks very strange, as you've given up the whole piece, but there is a tactical justification, and you should know this pattern because after knight captures g5, h4, and white is regaining the piece back. So good try by white, but black is up to the task and he has the equally strong move, namely c captures d4. The big point is, after e captures d4, black has this winning move on this position. Could you spot it? Congratulations if you find the move queen to f5, as it wins the game on the spot. Well, now black has multiple threats, including queen captures f2 and knight captures c3, and in some lines don't forget this loose bishop. All in all, it doesn't matter however white respond, black get instant winning position. For example, in one of my own blitz game, my 2000 rated opponent continued with f3, but this is a huge mistake, as after knight captures c3, attacking the queen, queen captures f5, black has this wonderful in-between move, knight captures e2, a discover check, and after king takes and pawn takes queen, the dust is clear and black emerge with a whole piece up. Last but not least, probably the most strongest reply here is knight g to e2, which has a similar concept that after black's knight to e4. This time around, white wants to play queen to d3, supporting the c3 knight, and if black now plays knight captures g5, then h4 will regain the piece back. Okay, no issues, our old friend will join the party, and if you remember the last trick, yup, c captures d4, pawn captures d4, and now very simple transaction, bishop captures c3. Well, here it doesn't matter however white recaptures, let's say knight captures c3, black has this ultimate blow, knight captures f2, bam! Well, white response is force, king captures f2, what else? But after queen captures d5, we have the similar scenario, pawn up, white king is misplaced, and what more you can ask in the opening from the black perspective. Okay, so now let's move on to the business end, where white continue with the main line, d5, grabbing every single space in the center of the board. And we are going to continue with d6, kind of a Benoni structure. Pay special attention guys, because you are going to witness one of the high profile trick in the main line, and as per the database, many strong players has fallen into. Well, for the few moves, both the side follow the main line. White plays e3, liberating the white square bishop. We are going to chop on d5, and after c captures d5, the very cunning move which sets up the tricky platform, and that is knight b to d7. So the idea is very obvious. As we have provided the support to the f6 knight, our queen can literally leap in on the a5 square. Okay, by far here the main move is bishop to d3, so white remain flexible. As per the requirement, the g knight can either come to f3 or e2, and then white wants to castle with the space in the center. And yes, indeed, that all looks good except one problem, that black has this obvious move, queen to a5, which ruined all the white fun. Okay, white has to defend this knight, so knight g to e2, and now you will see the whole point behind the move queen to a5, because after knight captures d5, we are going to open up the 5th rank. And although black has won a pawn here, this is irrelevant because his d6 pawn is weak. But as the game progresses, you will see what is the big idea of the black camp. The best move in this position is to castle on the king side. And after that, we are going to capture on c3 with our bishop. Now, the natural move in this position, knight captures c3, completely fails due to this simple fifth rank tactic. And I hope you indeed spot it instantly. Knight captures c3, pawn captures c3, and now c4, and white lose a piece. So knight captures c3 is right out of the equation. That means white is forced to capture with a pawn. And after that, another star move comes into the picture. c4, once again the opening of the fifth rank, and white should not take this pawn in the view of, yup, you got it, knight to b6, once again winning the piece. So that means after c4, white bishop has to move. And the most popular choice here is bishop to c2. After that, rather than capturing on c3, my recommendation here is you should castle first, siphon your king, and now all set to launch the devastation. Well, there is a discover attack on the white bishop, so white has to save the bishop first with bishop to h4. But that leads to this very simple sequence. Knight captures c3, knight captures c3, queen captures c3. Still, white cannot get d6 because his c2 bishop hangs. But okay, white has some initiative with rook to c1, trying to get over queen, queen to e5, bishop to g3. We are more than happy to sacrifice our backward pawn with queen to a5, and after bishop captures d6, rook to e8. The dust has been settled down, and one can easily see that not only black emerge with a clear pawn advantage, but once his two minor pieces comes out, then white is literally struggling for any compensation. Just to show you how easy this position is for the black, one of the high profile game continue with bishop to b1, not only defending on a2 but attacking on c4, and in the future white has some ideas of queen to c2. Guess what? Black response is very obvious. Knight to b6, defending on c4. If queen to c2, then g6 is a very strong reply. So white continue with e4. But after that, last piece comes out with ease. Bishop to e6, connecting the rook. And in fact, later on, this extra pawn do create problems for the white, and black managed to get a great victory. You can check the rest of the game in the PGN, but at this position, it is easy to say that black is in a complete driving seat with the extra pawn. That's it guys. I hope you enjoy and learn this high profile tricks in the Nimzo-Leningrad variation. You can literally use this line in the tournament practice as a complete surprise weapon and get the win very quickly. Well, thank you for watching this video. Feel free to like, subscribe and comment, and I will meet you in my next episode very soon. Bye and take care.